Not So Wide Divide. But he didn't want to take my line. So today, again, we don't have Tori. He's on vacay. Enjoy yourself, Tori. Sorry we had to do this without you. But we do have Mr. Brendan and Mr. Cody with us. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Good day.
See, you do, like, it just flows, man.
Trying to diversify.
I mean, I get it, but some things are just, that's like your tagline, bro. It's like, that welcomes our viewers with a loving hug.
All 9 of y'all, we appreciate it.
We love every 9 of y'all.
So
even though, like,
I guess I want to start by this, because speaking of 9 viewers, so we had a little hiatus, and we had a really good run for a while that we had. Yeah. We're constantly growing in viewership, either listening or viewing on YouTube. And then, we took our little hurricane hiatus, and when we came back, it was just flat. Like, we literally had like 3 views, 9 listens, and it was just like not even double digits most of the time. And then we had a guest on that Brennan brought in to talk about the flat Earth and the flat Earth theory. And it was a really good podcast. Like, I really enjoyed it. Made me look into it. And I just found out recently that he passed away. So I did want to kind of give a moment and tell Korey thank you for being on our podcast.
Absolutely.
We all, we're hoping to get you back and to continue the discussion on it. But his position and his ideas and his kind of passion behind it truly made me, I started following some people on TikTok, some flat earthers, and kind of listening to, I guess, to understand more of their thinking, I guess, right, in their positioning. But I did want to mention that, and I kind of did want to give a little a memory of Korey, because, like I said, he did not have to come on here. He asked no questions. He was just like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And so it was like, it was really sad that I saw that he had passed away. So I just wanted to mention that, not to.
Yeah, condolences to his family.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, on to the next thing. So what's our next bullet? What's happening in the world today?
Oh man, you want to talk about some cattle?
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's a good one. Since we just were hitting on that before, Cody didn't want to do my tagline. So throughout the week, leading up to or the day before, sometimes because we get busy, we'll text and say, "Hey, what do we want to talk about? What's going on this week?" And Cody, it's going to be a shitty intro, but Cody said, "Conspiracy, man. Like, how about we talk about some conspiracies?" And I thought about it, and I kind of really didn't know how to segue between each one and kind of tie them all in. So I kind of, my brain. And then he says, "Let's talk about the cattle this morning." And then you talk about the cattle, all the food plants catching on fire, baby formula going up in smoke.
Yeah,
it's like, so, and then when you said this, I was like, okay, this brings back the whole conspiracy thing.
Now what's crazy is, like, I haven't gone down this rabbit hole yet. Like, I've kind of trying to, so I'm gonna be going down this rabbit hole live and in living color, man.
Yeah,
I haven't,
because it's nobody, especially me, wants to believe that there are higher powers disrupting a food chain to this magnitude. And I'm not just talking about the cattle, right? I mean, chicken factories, pork factories, farms. Like you're talking about millions and millions of...
That's a lot of coincidence, man.
I know.
You know how my conspiracy brain gets sometimes, man, when we go down. But, like, that's a lot of coincidence, bro.
I know.
Or some... Maybe there's some just horrible safety practices at all of these plants, bro. Like,
so, yeah.
But for all to come ahead at one, like, within like a year or whatever, like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So nuts.
So the cattle thing, I'm going to separate that.
Yeah. Let's talk about the cattle first. I think it'll be shorter.
So 10,000 cattle died.
Can you pull that up, Brendan? Like in Kansas, I think.
Kansas
it's like 10,000
cattle. 10,000 head of cattle.
Right? Like, recently. It's like, that's like
it was like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So
I keep seeing 2,000, and I saw a thing from Kansas that said 10,000.
Most cities are saying 2,000.
Yeah, because they've downgraded it. But if you see the pictures and you see the video,
Well, I actually saw like an article from like a Kansas newspaper that said 10,000. I don't know if they were just blowing it up, but
it's 10,000.
yeah, it's at least 2,000. We can agree on that. That they're claiming it's somewhere in between 2 to 10,000 heads of cattle.
2,000 cattle is not like
that's a lot. Deal. That's a lot of steak, bro.
10,000 cattle, dude. That's feeding the state of Missouri.
Is that salvageable?
No.
Meat? If they just fall over from heat. What's the risk if they die from a heat or like a bullet?
So a lot, right? It was like
if they find them the next morning, they can't eat that still.
No.
Why?
So, and this is where I was going with it. Was a conspiracy. So cattle have a different digestive system than any other creature.
Like Earth, 2 stomachs or something, yes. 3 stomachs and shit like that.
These specific type of cattle, European Angus or European whatever. So, like, they are not heat tolerant at all, right? Their digestive systems make them an oven, right? So they have 2 chambers in their stomach, which one chamber generates heat to digest food, and it puts so these cattle are not made to be in excessive.
Well, what idiots spend that much money bringing that much cattle to a hot climate?
Well, that's why it's in Kansas City. It's not supposed to be hot. Got to 105 degrees in Kansas City.
Is that the only time it's been that hot there?
It was a record high. So, but this is on top of this, right? So normally, when these cattle come in, so you know what a feedlot is.
Yeah, I might put a bunch of them in there with a bunch of food or something to fatten them up and stuff or something like that.
But yes, so they take cattle that aren't supposed to be in heat, that are heaters by nature, and then they throw a blanket of fat on them and literally make them gain 40% of their body weight in about 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks, off to the slaughterhouse.
Okay.
That was delayed a week. So these cattle should have been harvested 7 to 10 days ago.
Okay.
Because they knew it's getting hot. They knew what. So it's kind of bad mismanagement and heat, and the cattle shouldn't have been there at that weight.
So, like, whoever's doing it, are there any I guess fines or punishments other than losing obviously a lot of money worth of cattle? Like these people, if they're that irresponsible, should not be allowed to purchase cattle anymore.
It's not that so they're the only ones that lost, right?
I mean, I get it,
so
but like
what they do
like
is that,
like I'll hunt. I'm not,
Yeah, no.
But like, I'm a firm believer. Like, if I'm going to eat an animal, like I don't want it to suffer. I don't want it to, you know what I mean? So
then stop buying beef from a grocery store.
I mean, I get all that. But what I'm saying is, like, that's unacceptable.
Oh, and they would agree with you.
Like, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like, there should
again,
they're
the ones that are loose. So when a farmer goes to a cattle, like to a feedlot, most of the times the feedlots buy their cattle from their farmers. So when the farmer's like done, the feedlot takes on the responsibility of growing that cattle and selling it at a higher weight,
right,
to make their margin.
Right. Yeah.
So, and some don't. Some have agreements with larger cattlemen,
right,
that says we'll split the difference, right? Like you pay for the feed, and we'll feed them, and we house them, and we do all this, and then we go to the market, we split the difference. So some farmers, some cattlemen, like
I always wanted to look into. You probably know because you do more of that kind of stuff, like buying a cow directly from a farmer and then having a butcher harvest that animal, and like I wonder how much difference in the money.
Not much.
Is the meat better quality?
Yes. Absolutely.
We're going to talk off air about that. I think I would really like to look into that because I have a huge freezer. Like I have the availability to put that. That's always something I've always like. I think I would support local business, and it would.
So we have a local butcher shop here that does that. And they actually do it with grass fed, grass finished, which health wise, and this is the biggest thing. Your palate, as a consuming American, has been adapted to grazed cattle that are finished on corn or soy, right? That it's like, oh, look at the marbling, right? It's all the fat in the meat. That shit's not natural. Like, cattle aren't supposed to gain
that much weight,
400 pounds in a week.
Right.
Right? I mean, but again, that's what happens. It'd be the same thing as a sumo wrestler, right? You ever seen like sumo wrestler trainings? Like they come in at 180, and in 6 months they're 450.
Right.
Because they eat 15,000 calories a day.
Right.
And it's like it's not good. It's tradition. It's all the things, but it's like it's not good for anything else. Cattle are no different. When they put cattle in a feedlot, they literally stick soy and corn in front of them 24 hours a day. They're not feeding them protein.
Sit there and eat.
Then that's it.
Fatten them up.
That's it. They're not eating anything that has any health benefit to that cattle.
Sure, it makes it taste
making
better though.
I
mean, I don't know. I haven't had anything to compare it to.
So I'll hook you up.
All right.
I got plenty. Because again, that's what to find local farmers.
So I don't want to cut you off, but I've tasted say saltgrass, like the chain that is supposed to be like those cow are fed on a different type of, and you can taste the difference. Yep. So I understand what you're getting at. I've never tasted to my knowledge. I stay with less fat on it, because normally that's what you want for the flavor. You want the steak with the big fat,
marbling in the meat,
right,
and all that. Grass-fed, grass-finished cattle don't have that. It has more of a pure meat. I mean, again, it depends how you cook it.
Right.
You cook it in duck fat, or you cook it in beef tallow, or you cook it in a healthy fat, coconut oil, something like that. Like, it adds a lot of flavor that's still in it. But the meat does have a different taste. It doesn't have that. It still has that kind of buttery,
right.
It still tastes like a good steak. Like, it's still good.
But it's not gamey, is it?
No. Okay. I mean,
like how a deer has a gamey or a rabbit has a gamey taste to it. I'm not a huge fan of that gamey.
So this is what I'm gonna do for you. I'm actually gonna cook you a steak from the supermarket, grass-fed, grass-finished, and then a deer steak.
All right.
And I have them all. They'll look exactly the same.
All right.
And I have you taste the
difference. You want it on this taste test?
Oh, absolutely, yes. My mouth is watering just listening.
I will say this. So I don't know how my grandmother made it. This was. I had to be in grade school. That's how far back that this is. But she made a deer steak once for me. That was one of the best cuts of meat that I've never tasted one since that good. I don't know what she did to it. But it was good enough that I remember it, 30 years later, right? But I remember eating that and going, there's no game taste to this. I don't know, like I said, so I know it's possible.
It's very possible. And it also depends, just like anything, when that animal was harvested, right? If you shoot a big buck in the prime of rut, the buck is full of testosterone. That buck is full of,
all those
things that are going to make him really gamey. It's no different in pork, right? Like if you shoot a wild pig and it's not. I feed you like you would like a sow, like a wild pig, a sow, or something like that. Boars, it's almost impossible to eat for an average person because it's extreme. It's gamey. It's kind of musky. It's not like. It
doesn't sound good at all.
But if you cook it, again, country folks, how they cook things, they learn how to cook the, unpalatable things out of things.
I'll taste it.
But if you eat a sow, like a wild sow,
that's a female.
Yeah, okay. It's like it doesn't taste like pork. It's good. It doesn't taste like it doesn't.
I've never had wild pig.
It's completely texture's different, taste is different, color's different.
Like me, like we both tasted a cow tongue from that woman for that summer job.
Just Charles.
So me, I will taste stuff, and I'm open minded to try almost anything. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to try it, but that gamey flavor is almost like coconut to me. Just fair warning.
It's not. I guess it depends on what your definition of gamey is, because to me, to eat rabbit has no game taste. Like I don't taste anything
on a wild rabbit, not a farm raised.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So how you've had it cooked and all that stuff. Now, when you start getting like elk, buffalo, moose, things like that, they're very gamey.
Now, I've tried maybe an elk burger or something from Bass Pro Shop. Maybe it was elk. It might have been one of the.
It's farm raised though.
Okay, because I was about to say that didn't have very much game. That was actually pretty tasty.
It's really good. But farm raised anything compared to a wild
harvest, right? Okay.
Because again, they're not searching for food. They're not out like their muscle structure is different.
Yeah.
They're
that makes sense.
So
and they eat different stuff.
They're like farm raised elk are not walking the mountains.
Right.
You know, they're not using their muscles in a different way.
I'm sure, like you said, I mean, like I'm a firm believer in you are what you eat. You know?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
I mean, I'm sure that has a huge difference in.
They eat the same types of food. It's just how they go about gathering them.
Right.
Right. A wild elk is going to walk a mountainside for days grazing. Right. You know, a farm raised elk is going to sit in a pasture and eats whatever's in front.
and have unlimited access to whatever you want to feed it. So if corn makes it taste better, you can feed it corn.
Well, that's the difference between like most, especially like elk, buffalo, like those guys, like they're not trying to change the flavor profile because most people that buy them don't want that. Right?
They want
an elk. They don't want an elk that's been fed corn because it does make it sweeter. It does make it fattier. You eat elk because elk is
a lean,
like almost extremely lean, very little fat, if any.
Like I would eat horse, bro. Like that's like I would try it. Yeah. You know, the only thing I really have an issue with.
The United States is the only country that you can't buy horse meat.
I know, and I'm not saying I want to go kill a horse and eat it.
I think Canada you can't buy.
What I'm saying is like I would try pretty much anything. The only thing I really have an issue, and I don't know why, but like, you see like on TV or whatever, people eat like lion, right? Like another predator just seems weird to eat to me. I don't know why. It's a mental thing, I guess, or like shark or something. I'm like,
I've eaten shark.
I would try it, but it just feels weird to eat another
predator.
Shark is
really, really good.
I don't know why that is.
You feel you got a brotherhood with him? You are a fellow predator.
I don't know if that's it.
I've never heard of anybody eating lion.
Like I was watching some show.
I mean, it
was in another country.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like a delicacy or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if it's because it's a big cat and I wouldn't eat a cat. You know, if that's what it is. But like, then I was like, well, shark. I don't know if I want to eat a shark.
Well, it's the same thing with the dogs. Like that's a.
Yeah, I'm not eating a dog.
I mean, either.
I mean, if I was starving, I'd eat you. But like,
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, you know, if I was in another country or whatever where horse meat was like a thing, I would try it. You know, I'd probably try lion. I'm not gonna lie, just because if it was in front of me or whatever, I would at least take a little tiny piece of the taste.
I've eaten zebra.
How was that?
Not good.
I wouldn't imagine
it was not good.
That good.
I've eaten llama too.
Llama?
Yeah, not good. And it could have been how it was tasted. So, there is. I'm trying to think of the place. They haven't done it in a couple of years, obviously, because of COVID. But it is the. What is it called? Fouche Parish does a. Somewhere's in the Rose. I can't think of the Rose Civic Center or something like that. They do this exotic cook-off. And there's like 50 booths.
Oh, shit.
And they have silent auctions, and it's this big old thing. And we sponsored it for a few years. And it gets a table, and everybody gets little cups of everything that all these people are cooking. And it was actually the first time I ever tried Nutra, which is amazing.
Which is such an ugly animal, but I would try it once.
So it is an ungamey rabbit.
Really?
If you look at it in a cup, it looks exactly like a rabbit. Like you would not if you put the back.
It's in the name though, Nutra Rat.
Yeah.
Like they should call it a Nutra Rat bit or something, or just a Nutra. It's the rat part that I think. I mean, you look at a squirrel, it's just a rat with a puffy tail, but
people eat that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not that good either. You ever eaten squirrel?
No. I don't think so.
I mean, it ain't bad. It's not like you said, if I'm hungry, I'll eat it. But if there's something else on the table, I'm not eating it. It's not that great. But yeah, so there's an exotic thing, exotic food. And dude, they had giraffe.
Giraffe or zebra?
They had giraffe, but I didn't try the giraffe.
I thought that was endangered.
So there's one of the main sponsors that started putting this on. Like he is a huge, like there's this safari club of the world or some shit, like, which you have to be loaded just to be, so like it's a private club kind of thing, but they do these like, $100,000 to go kill a zebra, or $500,000 to kill a giraffe, and it goes, you know what I'm saying? Like
go to safari
lion
hunts and right, okay.
And he brings back all the meats, and he does his mounts, and he puts these mounts in the
right
place. And I mean, it's really educational. They tells you the stories behind why this giraffe was killed or why this lion was killed, and well, exactly. They donate the food, a lot of it's here, but he brings some back. And I didn't try. I was gonna try, but they didn't. They ran out. Like by the time I got enough balls to go. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Bring that over. And they're like, wait, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But everything else, some things were like local to. They had one place that had like blood sausage, which I tried it. My jowls just kind of watered up. Like it was bad. Like I'm like, I don't see how. And people were like digging it, but it is so. It tastes like blood. It tasted like iron. It tasted minerally. Like it was really, So
like I said, I would take a small bite out of it and try it. I can't promise I would like it. But I'm all for if you wanna cook a couple steaks. Me and Brennan will come over there and we'll do a taste test.
Because I'll tell you what, I think you would be surprised at and one thing, like when you eat wild game, if you have to eat it well done, don't eat it. You can't eat wild game well done.
Well, I don't eat my steak well done.
Then you'll be fine. If you can do medium then you perfect.
Right.
Because if you eat wild game beyond a medium,
I think it's just my opinion, but I think if you eat any meat past a medium, you've cooked all the flavor out of it. Yeah. That's just.
It's not. It's texture changes. Everything. Right.
All the juiciness and goodness goes out of it.